The High Noon Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Is there a drag? Feels like there's a weird little drag. All right, hold on a second. Let me get to the chat room. Where are my chat room people at? Come on, chatters. Make sure everything's... It's always, a little bit bumpy here at the start of a Monday show as we get everything. Look at Tyrannus here. Still don't know that I'm pronouncing Tyranda properly. I love that name. Tyranda. How is the preferred? Well, we're just going to have to meet at some point. You're going to have to say, Pugs, my name is, and then you say it the preferred way. Adam's here. Hi, Adam. Leslie C is here. Leslie C, one of the fine executive producers of this here show. Leslie C, we got the ladies and Joel, the executive producing team of the ladies and Joel. We got April, who's just so great. April's just like a regular tipper, takes care of the show, keeps us going. Sally, Mama B, you could, we wouldn't do without her. Come on, we know. Leslie C, there she is. It's Leslie, and of course Joel B are the executive producers. Those are all people who tipped a little something. Tithed the church of the High Noon show over the weekend or at least last week. Thank you so much. The people who tipped the show is how we do the show. That's it. So if you tip today, you'll be the executive producers tomorrow. And we're really hoping that some people tip today because we are at that point in the month where we're grinding. We are $200 short. That's what we need. We need to somehow raise $200 by Wednesday, $200. So if there's anything you can do, drop a little something there in the chat. Down there at the bottom of the scroll there on the chat, I should say. Actually, I don't even know if it has anything to do with the chat, but I'll leave it up. It's the Venmo, it's the Cash App. If you support this kind of talk radio, and what is this kind of talk radio? It's non-divisive. We don't do political stuff. We welcome all people here. If you're angry about all kinds of stuff, we want you to come here. It doesn't matter how you voted. I don't care. I don't want to know. That's what, look, it's why you go in. They got a curtain, right? You're supposed to be able to do that stuff in private. I don't know when it all became public. I don't know when suddenly how we vote and how we think, politically and ideologically and whatever our worldview is, suddenly that became something that the neighbors got to know about. Wasn't really anything that was never the case before, but now it is. And we're trying to do a kind of talk radio that embraces that. I don't care how you voted. This is not for Democrats. This is not for Republicans. I don't care if you're conservative. I don't care if you're liberal. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we got other stuff to talk about that has nothing to do with politics. So if you support that kind of talk radio, drop a little something. That is how the show runs, on your tips and your gratuities. Thank you so much to the people who made this show responsible. Again, April, Sally, Leslie, and Joel, you have no idea how much your tips and your support means to this little project. All right, let's see here. Excuse me. How was your weekend? Did you guys have a good weekend? I had it's funny. We have the weather equivalent of Stockholm syndrome in this part of the country. And this part of the country is North Texas, where we do the show. We thought it was a beautiful weekend. I mean, it was still in the high 90s. I mean, it was still like 98 degrees and the sun is beating down at 4:00 in the afternoon. It was still all of that, but we think that's nice now because we've been used to 110. So now like 98 is like, this is nothing. It's nice in the mornings. Have you noticed that? I sit outside on the deck with the dog in the early mornings, around 8:45, 9:30. Oh my God, is it gorgeous? It's like 78 degrees. Halloween's coming. My son is going. My son is 14 years old. He's a freshman in high school. He is at that Rubicon, the Halloween Rubicon. Does he still dress up? What is his purpose on October the 31st as a 14-year-old boy? Is he allowed? He thinks of himself as a bit of a dude now. So, dressing and knocking on him, please, sir, can I have some candy? That seems awful childish to him. But he still does enjoy dressing up. He wants to do the whole costume thing. So, all right. So we've got that. That was a conversation I had this weekend. What's the deal with Halloween? We still doing Halloween? What else? What else happened this weekend? Nothing really. How's my chat room, people? Byron's here. Byron says, I had to spend the weekend indoors, but I was at least hanging with Jerry Lewis and the rest of, I don't know, I can't read that. Jenny Lewis and the rest of Postal Service. Jerry Lewis said Jerry. Yeah. Hey, Jerry Lewis is dead. All the Jerry Lewises are dead. The Jerry Lee Lewises, they're all dead now. Jenny Lewis, singer, songwriter, actress, whatever she is. She is not dead. Adam had an epic weekend. Well, do tell, Adam. What did you do? I'm just looking to kill time. Actually, I'm not looking to kill time. Here's the deal. Not a lot of big news in the news today. You know, there's a lot of political stuff, but you know, we don't do all that. So there's just, you know. So what did you guys do this weekend? I'm willing to spend a little bit of time in the chat room here. Why not? Mike is here. Howdy, Mike. Barney's here. Who else do I need to say hi to in the chat room? Hold on, I gotta scroll up so I can say hi. April is here, my EP. Cameron's here. Love seeing it. Byron says they're a great bunch of people. Austin on Saturday and here last night. I don't know what he's talking about. Is he still talking about Jerry Lee Lewis? I don't know. All right. That'll do it. We got everything out of the way that we need to talk about, right? So let's just get in with the show. What is this show, you might be asking yourself? Who is this guy? Well, for the next 2 hours at least, well, not at least, because it might not even be 2 hours, because lately it's been going like an hour and a half. We've got tumult going on here at the house. So today I'm not sure. Today we're probably looking at another 90-minute show, maybe longer. We will see. Adam says, Adam in the chat room says, Mason is at the age when he's going to get drunk at a high school kegger on a Halloween party weekend and crash his Trans Am into a house with Whitesnake playing on the tape deck. No, he will not. I mean, I know, look, that you're describing me in 1986 or whatever. I unless he's got me fooled, and I don't think he can fool me. You know, kids we all think we can fool our parents, but I don't think we fool our parents. I think our parents just allow us to. All right, they can have this one. I know what's going on, but I don't want to get into it. So, my kid at 14 seems pretty innocent. Pretty innocent by my standards of what 14 is. And boy, I'm happy for it. Here come the hiccups. Oh, geez, there we go. Barney was out there doing some deer hunting. Open day of deer archery in Oklahoma. That was my weekend. Weekend out there in the woods. It's a bunch of men killing animals, eating steak of that animal. Delicious. Man stuff. Deer's a little bit too deery for me. Somebody will eat it. I mean, if I shoot it, somebody will eat it, I'm sure. Just not me. I'm going to go get a burger. I'm like cow. I'm going to stick with cow. But hey, it was fun. The camaraderie of the hunt is what it's all about. All right, let's get into the show. Here's what the show is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I run down a list of all the things that are trending, the hot topics, the headlines, the current events, whatever it is people are talking about on TV. I list it for you. But before we go into the events of today, we like to cover our tracks, right? We like to find out what exactly this day is represented in the past. We start out by doing a segment called Erstwhile on This Day. We look back at previously on. We look back upon this day and we try and look for rhythms and patterns, things that might help us predict what's to expect in the coming hours of this particular incarnation of what is it? What are we doing? October the 2nd. Then we move on to birthdays. We talk about people who are having birthdays today. We weigh their entire contribution to society and we decide whether or not we're cool with them or not. Then we move on to heaven or hell. That's right. People who died on this day. So we do erstwhile on this day, events that have shaped this day. We do birthdays, people who were born, and then we do people who died. Now, this is the segment where we take a person's body of work, their contribution, their entirety, or at least what we know of it. Because, some of these people, I'm like, yeah, all I know are the hits, right? We don't know about the minutia of their life. But we decide, are they in heaven or hell? If you're ready, that's how we do it. We do erstwhile on this day, birthdays, and then heaven or hell. And then we get into all of the events of the day. So What do you say we get started? That's what we do around here. It is the High Noon Show. I am Pugs Moran. High Noon Rant, High Noon Report. I don't know. I haven't settled on it. It's probably the reason it hasn't caught on, because I can't come up with just an anchored brand for it. I don't know what. High Noon Rant, we'll call it. For the second day of October, year of our Lord, 2023. October 2nd is the 275th day of the year. There's 90 more of these left until the end of the year. Let's do a little erstwhile on this day. Things that have shaped this day in the past. Previously on October the 2nd. Previously on October the 2nd, or erstwhile on this day, in 1967, Thurgood Marshall is sworn in as the first African-American justice of the United States Supreme Court. Thurgood, that's a cool name too, right? That's like, if you're going to be the first black guy to be Supreme Court justice, maybe you don't want your name to be like Leon Jackson. Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with the name Leon Jackson. It's just not fancy. It just doesn't seem to be the kind of name that is going to weather history well. Thurgood Marshall. That's a name, man. That's a dude that was born to be the first African-American. That just sounds right. Thurgood Marshall. On this day in 1967. On this day in 1970, an aircraft carrying the entire Wichita State University football team, all of their administrators and supporters, it crashed in Colorado, killing 31 people. Man, this is horrible. I am such a pessimistic sports fan that whenever my teams are good, like really good, like throughout history, not great. Although I will say this, every single team that I consider myself a fan of, I have watched that team win their world title in my lifetime. I've seen so all of my teams, my college team, I watched Notre Dame win a national title. I watched the Bears win a Super Bowl. I've watched the White Sox win a World Series. I've watched the Bulls win multiple NBA titles, Blackhawks, multiple Stanley Cups. So I've seen all my teams. But whenever, and it's rare, and it is rare that my teams win because my teams usually suck. But whenever my teams are good, I always at some point have that thought, this team's going to die in a plane crash, right? Like whenever, like if my baseball team, is in first place or whatever, and they're going on a West Coast trip, I always have that. And it's because of this. Hasn't really happened a lot. Like it's happened, like there've been like soccer teams in England. I think there was like a soccer team that died in a plane crash. There's the team in South America that crashed in the Andes and they had to eat each other alive. I don't even know if that was real or if that was a movie. Well, I think it was real. That was real. But then there was wasn't Marshall too? The Thunder and Herd of Marshall. I believe they were involved in. Anyway, it was on this day in 1970 that the entire Wichita State, the Shockers. What a terrible thing. On this day in 2002, the Beltway sniper attacks begin in Washington, D.C. This would go on for 3 weeks, killing 10 people. I remember this because it was one of the first like ongoing national kind of stories that I covered when I first moved here to Dallas. I mean, I moved here in the wake of 9/11. So, that was the big national. But this was like the first non-9/11 sort of story that really gripped us. It was John Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo. John Muhammad was a grown-ass man. And Lee Boyd Malvo was like a kid, like his squire, sort of like a weird, twisted Batman and Robin, my word of the state. And what they were doing, if you remember, is they were hiding in the back of a Caprice, right? Wasn't it like a Chevy Caprice? And they had drilled a hole where the lock went in the back, the trunk lock, and they were sniping. They were laying in the back of this car and they were just killing people. Man, that was crazy. Like, Washington, D.C., you could be anywhere. People at a gas station, boom. People getting out of their car to go into a 7-Eleven, boom. It was on this day. It all started. First attack on this day in 2002, the Beltway sniper. On this day in 2006, oh, God. Okay, so remember this? This one we forgot, and rightfully so. Do you remember on this day in 2006 when Some psycho walked into an Amish school and slaughtered 5 little Amish girls. Just walked in and just killed them. Just why not? Why not? Ugh. And I say we've forgotten about this because what a grisly, what an awful thing. And yes, the fact that they're Amish play into it, because here you have a group of people who are doing what you do in America, which is exercise your freedom and live the way you want to live. The Amish people are weird, man. They are choosing to live in a way that goes against what is, popularly accepted as the norm of modern society. They are choosing. And you know what? Good for them. Let them go do it. That's what this country's about. They want to go live out in a field somewhere like it's 1850. Go ahead. Let them. That's fine. They're weird. When you're driving across country, right, and you go through an Amish town, you stop, you look in the store, you nod at some people, and you go, oh, my God, could you imagine living like this? And you move on. But that's their choice. And on this day in 2006, just some psycho just slaughtered 5 little girls. Ugh, what a terrible, terrible thing. Yeah, they're weird. A lot of people are weird, I mean, leave them alone. Leave weirdos alone. That's what I say. I put that bumper sticker on my car. Leave the weirdos alone. You can talk about them. You talk about weirdos and how weird they are. That's fine, but leave them alone. Hey, did you see that weird guy? That was weird, wasn't it? Yeah, I like talking about weird things. I do too, because weird is not normal and it's interesting and it's a different thing to talk about. Okay, that's it. That's the extent of how we comment on weirdness. On this day in 2018, Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi is assassinated in the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. This was, we all know about this. This is a big deal. The Washington Post guy, right? This is why the Saudi Arabians own golf now. They killed a guy. It was really bad. They just did it. They were like, this is gonna be really bad if we do it. And they're like, yeah, just do it. We'll throw money at the problem. And they did it. And it became a big problem. Like not like you at your like corner bar on a Friday night. Like it's not a big problem. No, but like on the world stage, like global markets and banks and people doing big, it became a problem, became an issue that they killed this guy. So then they created the Saudi fund and they just started buying sports. And now we're all like, golf is fun. The Saudis ain't so bad. That's what's going on. They've done a lot worse too, by the way. The Saudis have done a lot. This is just the one that people are like, really? This is the one you're cherry picking to be upset about? Okay. Let's do some birthdays. Buana, buana, buana. They say it's their birthday. Buana, buana, buana. I'm just going to go with what it says here in the paper. Paper says it's their birthdays as well. Born on this day in 1869, a big happy birthday to Mahatma Gandhi. Hey, Gandhi. Get that man a slice of cake. No? Okay. Born on this day in 1869, Mahatma Gandhi. Born on this day in 1890, how about Groucho Marx? Groucho Marx gets the damn right he does. Groucho Marx, man. That dude was a wit. That dude was so quick-witted. And like before you say, those witticisms that he fires off, those are all just part of his act. Yeah, but they came from real life. Most of Groucho Marx's act, most of the things that he says, most of the things that people go, oh my God, that's so funny. That guy is so quick. Those things all came from real life. They were just real situations that Groucho said these things. And then when I'm going to write that down, I'm going to keep that. Groucho Marx, born on this day. He's one of my favorites. He is so funny. The Marx Brothers are so funny. They are timeless. They are timeless. That's comedy. That is comedy. The Marx Brothers. Just no sound. Don't even listen. Just watch them. They're just fun. You need the sound though. Now that I think about it, because Groucho, you need the sound. His patter, his wit, his manner of speaking. Groucho Marx, born on this day in 1890. Born on this day in 1937. Johnny Cochran, ladies and gentlemen. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Put that glove on. And he's trying to put the glove on. And first of all, it's an isotoner. No, isotoners, the whole point is that they don't fit, that they're difficult to put on, right? Like they're supposed to fit you like gloves, so you got to peel them out. Obviously, it doesn't fit. It's like, what's an isotoner? It's the glove doesn't fit. You must have quit. That's not a rule. No, but that's not written down. I know you said it, but that's not a real thing. The glove doesn't fit. We're not just going to quit. Anyway, they did. The glove did not fit, and they did acquit. Born on this day in 1937, Johnny Cochran. Born on this day in 1945. Here's a guy. We're just going to mention him because I accidentally mentioned him the other day. I celebrated somebody. I think it was Don Williams. Don Williams, the singer-songwriter, had a birthday, and I said he was the American Pie guy, and he wasn't. But Don McLean absolutely is. Don McLean, the American Pie guy, born on this day in 1945. Here's a quick little Don McLean American Pie guy story. I was working at a place called Sluggers in Orland Park, and I was in college, and they brought old Don McLean in to do a little acoustic set there at Sluggers. And I was back in the office, and I was going through some things, and I don't know, I just saw something. Do you know what they paid him for one night? This dude in this had to have been 1995, 1994. No, it's like 1993, 1994. They paid him $15,000 for 1 hour. Jesus Louises. Oh my God. Just for 1 hour. And what's he going to do? A 1 hour version of a long, long time ago. I mean, that's all the guy, $15,000. Think about that. Like, could he do that a couple of times a week? It's a good life. It's not bad being the guy who wrote American Pie. Do that a couple of times a week. You play county fairs. Oh my God. I mean, maybe not always going to make 15. Sometimes you're going to make more. Sometimes a little less, but whatever. Get up and play for an hour. Do you know how many people go out and do open mics for an hour and make nothing? Don McLean, born on this day in 1945. Born on this day in 1950. Here's another singer-songwriter, Mike Rutherford. Mike Rutherford of Genesis. And Mike and the Mechanics. Mike and the Mechanics. God, they were lame. Mike and the Mechanics were so lame. It's like, synth rock, like dudes wearing suits. That was like a really bad era of corporate BS rock and roll. Like the late 80s, like you had like the Sunset Strip guys, come on! And they're all dressing like women, and it's all weird. But then you had this other class of like musician, guys who came out of the 70s who were now like 40. And they decided that they were going to start doing rock and roll in suits. And they were going to look like Wall Street guys while doing rock and roll. Oh, God. It was the worst. Mike Rutherford did that. Mike and the Mechanics. They sort of embodied that whole. I mean, pretty songs. I guess. I don't know. Maybe there's some sentimental attachment to them. Like if you put out a Mike and the Mechanics song, would I go, okay, I can listen to this. But I can tell you that in the moment, in the era, I was not listening to that. I was like, I don't want to hear this. In the living. And no, that was lame. And what was he? What was Mike? What was Mike Rutherford? He's a guitar player? He's a guitar player, right? All right, moving on. Born on this day in 1950, Mike Rutherford. Genesis, Mike and the Mechanics. Born on this day in 1951, how about Sting? Gordon Sumner. Sting. We know him as Sting. He was born on this day in 1951. I like Sting. I like Sting's lyrics. Sting's a good lyricist. He's a good songwriter. He writes cool things. Do I have any other? Sting sort of embodied that too. That Mike Rutherford. When Sting put a suit on, when Sting started showing up in sport coats, it's like what? Ugh. You used to be Sting, dude. Your name is Sting. You're dressed like your name should be like Malcolm Chadsbone III. Why your name is Sting? You're supposed to be punk rock. You used to wear like the spiky collars and the hair. Whatever. They all got weak. Born on this day in 1951, Sting. Although I do like Sting. Even Sting's weak stuff. Like people will say like, oh, Sting had his Billy Joel period. In which I go, what exactly does that mean? I've never understood the Billy Joel period because Billy Joel's awesome. Like, what period of Billy Joel are we somehow besmirching? Billy Joel has been consistently corny and awesome for like 50 years. Leave him alone. So you can't come for Billy Joel. You can't come for Styx. You can't. What are you going to do? Oh, really? Please. Both of those, they were Nickelback before Nickelback. Anyway, born on this day in Sting's cool. I like Sting. Born on this day in 1954, Lorraine Bracco. Lorraine Bracco. She's Dr. Melfi from The Sopranos. I don't know if she did anything else. Yeah, she did. She was Karen in Goodfellas. That's it. That's her entire career. Her entire career is that she is criminal adjacent. She was Karen. She was, I don't think she had really done any other movies. That was like her big breakthrough. Like Goodfellas was a big movie. And then all of a sudden, Lorraine Bracco is like an actress. She's like, she plays Karen. So then after Goodfellas, I don't know, what does she do? She plays like a bunch of like mafia wives in a bunch of movies because, you know, why not? And, you know, what she's getting paid for, but she's a good actress. And then she sort of reemerges. Like the next thing that she does after Goodfellas is, of course, The Sopranos. And that would be her career defining role as Dr. Melfi. What's her name? Jennifer Melfi? Is it Jennifer Melfi? Yeah, Jennifer Melfi. Okay, so here's a pro tip. When rewatching The Sopranos, and I have binged watched the entirety of The Sopranos probably 4 times now from beginning to end, if you count like the first original run of it where I watched every week. Yeah, probably 4 times. I think I've gone through it 4 times. I'm probably going to start a 5th binge with my son in a year or 2. So anyway, if you are going to rewatch The Sopranos, and I highly recommend it because there's just so much going on in that show that you miss it. Like the first time through, you miss all of these sub things. If you are going to re-binge The Sopranos and you've already seen it all the way through, I might suggest that you fast forward every scene that Tony is with Dr. Melfi. Now, I know it's Lorraine Bracco's birthday and this seems sacrilegious, but I'm saying this for people who have already seen it. Now, if you've never seen The Sopranos, you must watch all of the scenes with Dr. Melfi. Here's why. Because those scenes are designed to give you more of an understanding of what Tony is going through. Tony is a far more complicated character. If you were to just watch the crime stuff, you'd get one side of Tony. But if you don't watch the Jennifer Melfi, but if you watch the Jennifer Melfi stuff, and that's the whole reason for it, it's supposed to give you a more complicated view of who this guy is. Now, after you've seen it one time through, you don't need to see it again. You get it. You understand who he is, so you can fast forward through all that. Anyway, there's a pro tip. Happy birthday to you, Lorraine Bracco. Born on this day in 1954. Born on this day in 1970. Kelly Ripa. Oh, I was always on Team Kelly. That's right. You were either on Team Kelly or Team Princess back in the day if you were a fan of the USA Network after-school show Dance Party USA. That's where Kelly Ripa originally came from. She was just some local Philadelphia girl or New Jersey suburbs, whatever, wherever it was. It was a local Philly, New Jersey show. And it was a dance party, and after school, you'd watch Dance Party. We'd watch it because the girls were hot. I watched it for a young Kelly Ripa, who is now Kelly Ripa. Back then, she was just Kelly, and it was either you liked Kelly or Princess. Princess had an edge to her. Princess was kind of a slut. Like Princess kind of was like into Prince and sexy music and, all that kind of stuff. And she danced like Prince. She was Princess. And she was hot, and a lot of guys liked her. But then there was Kelly. Kelly was like the cheerleader, and then Kelly was awesome. I was Team Kelly all the way. That Princess would have broken my 14-year-old in half. Princess Kelly I could date. Kelly you could roller skate with. Yeah, just, had that vibe about it. Happy birthday, Kelly Ripa, born on this day in 1970. Let's talk about people who have died, huh? Let's go to dead people. Let's talk about dead people who have died on this day, and let's decide based upon what we know of them, whether or not they're in heaven or hell, okay? Here we go. The first one that we're going to be talking about here. Rock Hudson, dead on this day in 1985. Rock Hudson in heaven or hell. So I learned a whole lot about Rock Hudson. So Rock Hudson, and then I learned a lot about Rock Hudson back in the day because Rock Hudson was very famous, just not for my generation. Rock Hudson was like, my mom knew who Rock Hudson was, right? Major movie star, like a George Clooney level movie star. And then, in the 80s, he was older and started to do less. And then he did TV. It was a big deal when Rock Hudson joined the cast of Dynasty. And then he had AIDS. Rock Hudson, it was announced that he had AIDS. And then he became like, he's evil, he's gay. Man, I think Rock Hudson's in heaven, right? I mean, you just got to think, because here's the thing, and this is what I said. I read a couple of Rock Hudson biographies. He seemed like a really good dude. Like, he seemed like a really, really nice man, like a good guy. He's in heaven. He's in heaven. He didn't know. He was just a handsome gay guy in Hollywood living in the closet, just trying, he's nice to people. He was very nice. He was very well liked. People loved him. He was like a good dude, a friendly, like totally unaffected, real Midwestern, real like not like a superstar. Rock Hudson, I'm going to put him in heaven. Dead on this day in 1985. Dead on this day in 1998, Gene Autry. Again, we talked about him a couple days ago. I don't know from Gene Autry. Gene Autry, Roy Rogers, Cowboys. He was a rich guy. He owned a bunch of things. At one point, Gene Autry was like the largest single landowner in the state of California, which he's going to hell. You can't. Yeah, he did some stuff. He did some stuff that didn't, wasn't made public, is all I'm going with. Dead on this day in 2005. How about Nipsey Russell? Nipsey Russell. I don't know. Here's what I know about Nipsey Russell. Game shows in the 70s. He was a comedian. I didn't find it particularly funny. Like, I think his whole bit was, didn't he do rhymes? Wasn't that Nipsey Russell's thing? You know what? Nipsey Russell had to have been in his 60s in the 1970s. Well, when did he die? He died in 2005. Okay, so he lived to be 85, 86, 87. So he lived to be 87. You got to put, he's probably in heaven, right? I mean, you got to go with, because think about him. He was like a comedian. Like, he was doing the game show circuit in the 1970s. So the bloom was off his rose. He was probably playing funky rooms in Vegas. Imagine what he went through in the 50s as a black comedian in the 1950s. I just imagine Nipsey Russell's probably in heaven. And he seemed like a nice guy. And yeah, he did. He did rhymes. He was like, here is a thing that rhymes. That was like his whole bit. And then they were funny. Dead on this day in 2005, Nipsey Russell. Dead on this day in 2017, Tom Petty. Tom Petty. 67 years old. Tom Petty was only 67 years old. I remember the day Tom Petty died. That was a shock, right? He just dropped dead of a heart attack. That's the whole thing. You're like, wait. Tom Petty's dead. Tom Petty can't die before Dylan. Tom Petty can't die before Jagger. Tom Petty can't die before McCartney, right? I mean, Tom Petty's like that next generation. Yeah. Tom Petty's in heaven, though. Gotta be, man. That dude, all of that music, all of that. He was so cool. Tom Petty's in heaven. Dead on this day in 2017. Dead on this day in 2022. Someone by the name of Sasheen Littlefeather. Sasheen Littlefeather. What is she? Well, here's what she's famous for. Marlon Brando won an Oscar in the 1970s, and he refused to go up and accept it because Native Americans. Something Native Americans. He's not going to take it. Something Native Americans. And instead of him going up to accept the award, Sasheen Littlefeather, who like in 1972 was like this hot Indian, Native American girl. She was like this really pretty. She was in her like. She went up on stage dressed in Native American clothing, traditional clothing. But it was 1972. Why was she wearing that traditional clothing? Was she trying to be performative with that clothing? Or is that the way she walks around all the time? Is that part of it? I don't know. It was all very performative. Where is she? Is she in heaven or hell? I don't know. What do Native Americans believe in, heaven or hell? Sasheen Littlefeather, we're going to put her in, I don't know, American actress, model, and activist for Native American civil rights. I'm fine. All right. There you go. If it says that in your bio, if it says that in your obit, I guess we got to put you in heaven, right? I don't know. Sasheen Littlefeather. Cool name. All right, that's going to do it. Those are all of the people who have died on this day. Now let's move on to the portion of the show where we like to give you a nice little firm full 30,000-foot view of all of the things that are happening today. Today's high noon rant or report, if you will, with me, Pugs Moran, executive produced by April, Sally, Leslie, and Joel. Thank you all so much for helping this show. How did they do it? How did they get to be executive producers? Well, they dropped a little something in the Cash App or in the Venmo. We're going to leave that up. It's scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. If you're so inclined, at some point moved to support this style of talk radio, which doesn't have a home on terrestrial radio, because, I'm not telling you how to vote. If you want to support that, drop a little something. It would be greatly appreciated. We are at the point of the month where we are desperate, and we do not have enough money to continue on for next month. We are $200 short as of this show. I will let you know where we are on that as the week progresses, but we have to get to that point by Wednesday, by end of show Wednesday. Or else, we got things to do. All right, let's move forward. Let's get into all the things that are trending today. What do you say? All right, here we go. Hate doing this stuff, but you got to mention it. Opening statements are underway in Trump's civil fraud trial in New York City. He was in court today. I saw him. He was talking. Don't listen when he talks. Don't listen when any of them talk. So I don't know what they're talking about. But look, rest assured, if you want a deep dive on what's going on with Donald Trump, the former president, and his court case going on in New York City, there are plenty of places that are just going to do nothing to talk about that for the next 48 hours straight. Go find them. That's not what we're doing here. Also, big news, also political. So, we're going to move past this one quickly. Governor Newsom there in California, he has announced a replacement, because the governor of California gets to replace the senator. Dianne Feinstein, she died. Well, she probably died months ago, but whatever. We just found out about it on Friday. Dianne Feinstein died, and Gavin Newsom has now appointed LaFonza Butler. Ladies and gentlemen, LaFonza Butler has been appointed by the governor of California to fill the seat by Dianne Feinstein. LaFonza Butler, third ain't that big a deal, right? Third African-American female senator. Who you got? Who's your African? Well, you got Carol Moseley Braun from Illinois. She was the first. Then you got Kamala Harris from California. She was the second. And now you got LaFonza Butler, also from California. She's also a gay. She's a gay. She's a black. She's a lady. And she's a California. Yeah. So there you have it. That's it. LaFonza Butler is going to be the new senator from California, replacing Dianne Feinstein, as appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom. Also making its way through the Senate. This is happening quietly. I always talk about the slow creep of change, because we can't handle actual change. We can't handle right turns. We can't handle that light switch being flipped. We can't go from one thing and then just flip it and go, it's a different thing now. We don't handle that. Oh my God. We have in this country adopted a process I like to call the slow creep. And the slow creep is something that right now, well, it happened with gays, the gay marriage, and making people weren't cool with gays in 1990 is all I'm saying. People are cool with gays now. Slow creep. There was no big switch that got flipped. It was just over the course of time. So I always apply the slow creep formula that we're seeing unfold to legalization of marijuana. Here in Texas, marijuana is basically legal. You want to get high, you can go to a store and you can buy it. You can get a receipt. You can put it on your taxes. It's legal. It's going to be this hemp version of THC and all that stuff. But whatever, it gets you high. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same. It's lesser. No, it's not. Dummy. You don't know how this works. No, it's not lesser. It'll knock you on your ass. But anyway, so we're not just going to say, all right, weed is legal now. We're going to do it slowly. We're going to make little changes. Now, one of the big obstacles to federal change has been the banking of marijuana gains. Okay. So if you are in a state and you are operating a legal marijuana business, you cannot take your money that you make from that legal business and put it in a normal bank. Why? Because all the normal banks are insured by the federal government, and the federal government does not recognize state laws that legalize marijuana. So you would be basically banking drug money in the eyes of the federal banking system. So what has this led to? A lot of crime. I will tell you that when the legalization went through in the state of Illinois, I had a friend who worked at one of the places, the dispensaries where you would go and you would buy your weed legally. And they couldn't do drops at the bank. So every night at closing time, do you know how much money? I mean, we are talking about tens of thousands of dollars a week that were paid to private security firms who would basically back a tank with a whole bunch of former Israeli Mossad agents, standing around. And at the end of all the money that was made at the dispensary was then put in this private and then taken to so that's been a real problem. How are you going to grow a business? How are you going to grow the economy of marijuana legally in this country in states where it is operating legally? How are you going to grow these markets if you can't even use banks? All right. So nobody's just going to go, it's legal to do it in banks. So slow creep is going to come in. We got to get the bank situation right. You can't make this a big issue. You can't have people on the floor going, we can't have the banks. And then someone else going, the bank's got to be able to legalize. You can't have that argument publicly. It's got to happen with slow creep behind the scenes. And it's happening. A landmark marijuana bill is now headed for the Senate floor. There's a better than average chance that this one is going to pass because nobody's paying attention to it. And everybody supports the legalization of marijuana at the federal level. Everybody does. You know who doesn't? A couple of deep-pocketed weirdos who don't want the guys that they're giving money to, their senators, their bought and paid for representatives. There are deep-pocketed anti-marijuana people who don't want their guys publicly going up there and saying, hey, I'm going to support this. So it's got to be done quietly and through slow creep. The Senate Banking Committee has approved a historic marijuana banking bill that breaks barriers beyond financial institutions and cannabis companies. The Secure and Fair Enforcement Regulation Banking Act, which aims... now this is how we got legal weed in Texas. It was the Hemp Act. It was the Trump signed a farming act that everybody went, it's just about farms. And well, yeah, it was just about farms, but also made weed legal in Texas. Made it so that you can walk to a vape shop and buy some gummies that'll knock you on your ass, or buy some vape that'll get you higher than any weed you've smoked at a concert ever. I'm serious. It's how that happens. As the marijuana market flourishes across the United States, federal legal ambiguity has hindered its full potential, making transactions an all-cash and very risky affair. The legislative road ahead is tough, despite hey, dude, I'm talking to you one-on-one. One of the dispensaries that I used to go to in Illinois, it's all cash. You can't use your card. So you can't use a debit card at the you have to use cash. So they have a bank of ATMs, so that when you're there, and you're like, oh, wait, you don't take plastic? They're like, no, but the ATM is right there. You can go to this bank of ATMs. $15 service charge. $15 service charge if you want to use the ATM. Man, that is some strip club gouging. $15. That's got to be illegal. How is that legal? Anyway, because you got to pay cash, because you can't just swipe your debit card. Anyway, the bill is going through. They say that it's probably going to pass. And then quietly, marijuana companies are going to be able to do some federal banking, which is a very big deal. Very good thing. The writer's strike ended last week, and some of the earliest shows to return have already started. Last night, John Oliver on HBO. John Oliver apparently returned. I don't know. I haven't watched John Oliver in about 5 years since he came. John Oliver used to be a really fun guy, and he used to do really interesting stuff. And then about 5 years ago, he started doing nothing but Trump stuff. And look, I'm no Trump fan. But enough is enough, man. I can't watch Jon Stewart because of the whole Trump thing. I used to really enjoy Jon Stewart. I can't watch John Oliver. I can't watch Bill Maher. Although Bill Maher, I really don't like. Bill Maher's always been sort of a hate watch for me. Enough with these people. All right, so tonight, the whole point, writer strike tonight. Most of the late night television shows are coming back. Fallon, your Seth Meyers, your Colbert's. So tonight will be the first one. So if you want to see what they've all been working on, not being able to publish, they should have great jokes. This is like I always look at this like the first week of Saturday Night Live, like when Saturday Night Live comes back after being off for the entire summer. And this year they'll have been off for the entire summer plus 5 weeks because they ended the season 5 weeks early. So you always expect like that first week of Saturday Night Live to just be awesome because they've had so much time, and it sucks. It inevitably sucks. The season premiere of Saturday Night Live, even though they've had all this time and they have all this stuff to work from, sucks. It's always disappointing. So that might be something to look out for tonight with the writers returning to the talk show. So the talk shows will be back on. Here's a story that happened over the weekend. This comes to us out of Oklahoma, and this is, boy, oh boy, I always try and point out the frailty of life, right? Anything can just happen so quick. My God, you blink your eyes, it's over. Your next breath is not guaranteed, folks. 27-year-old mother of 3. She's got a side hustle there at a local airport in Oklahoma. She mows the lawn there. This is a small little local airstrip in the middle of Oklahoma. Broken Bow airstrip. No air traffic controllers, which means that pilots have to basically announce themselves. I don't know who they're talking to or whatever. But okay, so we got this 27-year-old mom of 3, side hustle. She mows the grass there at the airport. She's out there mowing the grass on Saturday, and a dude landed a plane on her, killed her. Didn't land the plane on her. He didn't see her. She was mowing the grass like around the runway, and I don't know if this dude missed the runway or whatever the deal is. This guy comes in a little Cessna. Here's how she died. This is awful. She's on a riding mower. Apparently she had headphones on. She's headphones on a riding mower. She's probably cranking music, probably listening to some Morgan Wallen. She's a good country girl, 27 years old, probably having the time of her life, thinking about where she's going to go out, do a little boot scooting on Saturday night in Oklahoma. Oh my God, she's got a babysitter lined up. She's going to have plane landed on her. She's just on her. She's just on the lawnmower. Plane lands on her. I say plane lands on her. It's not what happened. Here's what happened. The plane clipped her. Now, she's on a riding mower. This is a Cessna. The plane clipped her. Here's how she died. She was hit in the head with the plane's wing. The plane came down. She's on the ground. She's dig. She's on the lawnmower. Plane comes down. The wing of the plane, boom, just clicks her head. Just bam. Holy crap. That is not... Oh, and she's adorable too. Here, look, I'll show you a picture of her. She's adorable. It gets worse. She's like, oh my God, look at her, 27. She's so pretty. I'll show you a picture of her. I'm telling you, man, life. Your next breath is not guaranteed. It is not. Here, where is she? Again, just a side hustle, just out there doing a side hustle. 3 kids. Look at her. There you go. Boom. Look at her. She's a baby. She looks like a baby. Plane wing. How'd she die? The wing of a plane hit her head. Wait, what? You mean she hit the wing of a plane? Because obviously the plane had to have been. No, the plane wing hit her. She died. God, not fun. All right, there you have it. Let's see here. What else do we have? What other good stories do we have? Oh, geez, here's another one. Okay, so the tragic tale of Bupak Shakur. This is, by the way, not related at all to the arrest of someone in the 1996 murder of Tupac Shakur. This is Bupak Shakur. Now, I got to be honest, I'm unfamiliar with this guy. We don't need that pop up. you may remember we do a second stream every night at 9:00. Well, we'll do the Radio Misfits stream. It's myself and James Parker, and it's a bit more conversational. You may remember about a year or so ago, I was really into these pedophile hunters on YouTube. I discovered these. Hold on. I discovered these videos of dudes that would go online, trap local pedophiles, and then like arrange to meet them somewhere, like a Walmart or something. And they would meet these dudes who thought they were meeting teenagers, but then they'd be like, I'm a grown-ass man and you're a pedophile. And they are so entertaining. It's the whole, Chris Hansen, remember he used to do that thing on Dateline. What was it? To Catch a Predator. That's it, To Catch a Predator. It's that whole thing taken to the do-it-yourself crowd, right, and thrown up on YouTube. So there's this guy that's who Bupak Shakur is. Bupak Shakur is a Michigan-based pedophile hunter. He's got a whole bunch of famous guy. People like him on YouTube and all that stuff. Well, he's dead. He's dead now because he went and he confronted a pedophile. Here, let's watch the story. Why not? The sad story of Bupak Shakur. Now, I didn't know about this guy. I've watched other people, but I'll tell you this: all of these people that I watch, I'm always like, this is really dangerous. I know that I'm just enjoying it sitting here on my couch with the laptop, but this is actually really dangerous. These people are going out in public and they're accusing people who are already weirdos, right? Pedophiles, like dangerous people. So here's the story. Let me pull this up. That's enough. This is the story of Bupak Shakur from over the weekend. Here we go.
We turn now to a community mourning a Pontiac man known for trying to catch online sexual predators.
His name is Robert Lee. He's also known as Bupak Shakur, and he had a large social media following.
He would pose as a young girl online and record confrontations with accused predators that he communicated with.
But investigators say one of his confrontations ended with his death. It happened at Universal Coney Island in Pontiac.
7 Action News reporter Peter Maxwell joins us now live from outside the Oakland County Sheriff's Department with how the community is remembering Lee. Peter?
Chili doesn't belong on hot dogs.
Well, the victim in this case was very well known in Pontiac and very well known to law enforcement for trying to protect children from online predators.
Back in January, 7 Action News spoke with Robert Lee, also known as Bupak Shakur, on social media.
I talk to a lot of victims, and they appreciate what I do.
By the way, I do want to point that out. Yes, I do think that a lot of these guys, I've watched a lot of these so-called, pedophile hunters online. I love it. I love their content. Keep going, man. Whatever, keep doing it. Fine. But it's not all with these guys only about the kids. Like, some of them are definitely in it for the glory. I can't speak to Bupak Shakur here because I'm unfamiliar with him, but there are a couple people out there where I'm like, hey, you're doing this for clicks. You are doing, and look, that's fine. I mean, look, there are people out there doing shit for clicks that, don't really contribute anything. At least these are people who are contributing something by calling out local pedophiles. I'm all for it. But to a great extent, a lot of these people are just doing it for, the attention.
So over a year, Lee, a Pontiac native, used the power of social media. There, he'd pose as an underage girl to catch sexual predators.
He was really dedicated to this.
The conversations that he had with them would then be forwarded to police. And sometimes Lee himself would confront the would-be predators and even recording those interactions and then posting them on social media. And this video has almost 3,000 views.
Certainly, he was a very well-intentioned person, very much in alignment with our philosophy. We want to see child predators taken off the street, held accountable. We want to protect kids.
Lee was killed late Friday night inside Universal Coney Island near North Perry and MLK Boulevard in Pontiac. The Sheriff's Department says Lee confronted 2 men, ages 17 and 18, inside the restaurant, even accusing one of the men of being a pedophile.
The confrontation escalated very quickly, and ultimately the second individual in the booth.
I don't know that that's a good bust in the world of pedophile hunters. I don't know, 17, 18. 17 is, that's nothing. He's not a pedophile. 18, I mean, he is technically by the letter of the law because we do have that line of demarcation at 18 years of age. But you know what I mean? This isn't like a 45-year-old. This isn't. My point is, maybe I think he just got sideways with a couple of scary dudes. And they killed him.
Booth produced a firearm and shot him multiple times.
After an intense search,
Well, let's hear that
even
story again.
accusing one of the men of being a pedophile.
The confrontation escalated very quickly, and ultimately the second individual in the booth produced a firearm and shot him multiple times.
After an intense search, police arrested the two men involved in Lee's shooting on Saturday. The names of the men have not been released because formal charges have not been filed. Sheriff Bouchard says Lee's work has led to the arrest and criminal charges of several men, including an Oakland County Sheriff's deputy last year. Sheriff Bouchard says the work that Lee did can be very dangerous and does not recommend that people confront predators.
Oftentimes, if you actually...
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, it can be really... You're going to tell us it can be dangerous? We're talking to you because a dude just got killed. Yeah, we know it's dangerous. You don't need to tag the story with, hey, folks, by the way, this could be... Yeah, we know the whole story is about a guy who got killed. We know that. All right, here's a story that I saw earlier today, and I thought, well, isn't this weird? So there is a business. This is posted in today's New York Post, and it was trending earlier today. So there's a story, there's a business, and apparently it's growing like wildfire there on the East Coast. It hasn't necessarily made its way across the rest of the country, but do you have kids? Hold on. So there's a new company. It's called Rent a Mom. That's right. Rent a Mom will provide, if you are a parent and you are sending your child away to college for the first time, you want to make sure that their clothes are clean. You want to make sure that their food is, they're eating right. You want to make sure that they're getting the lovin's and, all the little noogies or whatever it is. Rent a Mom is an actual company now. Now, all right, I'm going to read you a little bit and then we'll. All right, here you go. Rent a Mom. Like any good mom, when one of her kids calls, Tammy Kumin comes running, no matter the time of day or night. The biological parent of 3 and grandmother of 6 from Boston does it all, even in her 70s. Emergency grocery shopping, cooking, and laundry. She's even jumped on a plane in the wee hours to bail one of her youngsters out of a Miami jail. She's also rushed to bedsides in New York City emergency rooms. However, Kuhlman isn't the actual mother of the kids whom she caters to. She's simply their rent-a-mom. This is a rich people thing. This is like rich people who have guilt about not spending any time with their kids, who are now sending their little 18-year-olds who were raised by nannies and coaches and, tutors. And they're sending their little 18-year-olds across the country for the first time, and now guilt is setting in. So what do? They're paying another person to go and do all of the things that the mother is supposed to do for their child. Just go through the motions, none of the actual sentimental attachment, emotional support, unconditional love, none of that stuff. But, you need vegetables. We've got an old lady who's going to go down to the supermarket for you for $50 a week or whatever it is. I don't know, but I would do this. All right, wait a second. Hold on. I would do. How about rent a dad? How about just a guy who's going to sit in your living room and tell you to shut up and not let you watch what you want to watch? How about that, college kids? That would be good. Rent a dad. I'll just sit in the living room. Parents can pay me $100 a day. $100 a day, I'll go sit in your... Now I'm going to need more than that. I'm going to need a room. It's going to have to be $100 a day. Rent a dad is going to be $100 a day. It's got to be more than that. Yeah, because I want a luxury market. I want like rich parents. Like, so let's go $500 a day. I don't want to live there. Yeah, nah, $500 a day. I don't want to live there. No way. So I'm going to have to leave. We'll work it out. Anyway, Rent a Dad is basically just me sitting on a chair, like a Barca lounger in the middle. It's got to be an ugly, broken down, stained Barca lounger too. And it's going to be a college kid's apartment. So, but that's it. I'm just going to sit in that chair and I'm going to watch. I'm going to sit in that chair and I'm going to watch World War II shit on the History Channel. That's going to be my whole thing. And then the kids can come and go and I'll I'll yell at them about drinking my beer. It's just all of those things. Anyway, back to the real company that actually exists, Rent-A-Mom, and let's find out what they do. Like any good mom, when one of her kids calls, all right, we're talking about Tammy. She's running down to Miami to bail rich D-bags out. She says, I'm a mom away from mom. I'm a total support system for students. Kuman, who is also the founder of Concierge Services for Students, CSS. So that's her company, CSS. It's a concierge. It's Rent-A-Mom, but it's a concierge service for kids. So the parents who can't be bothered, parents who don't want to get that call from their kid to bail them out in Miami, they can just go straight to the concierge service. We get kids in pre-boarding schools, rich kids, of course, private boarding schools. We get kids in boarding schools, pre-boarding schools, colleges, she said, and we take care of their practical needs, medical needs, their mental health needs, and beyond. The momtrepreneur, that doesn't work naturally, because I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to do mom and entrepreneur, but that doesn't. The momtrepreneur, that's not good. That's not a good. The momtrepreneur. Now that I say it a couple of times, it's getting better. Momtrepreneur. The momtrepreneur. It works. It actually does work. You've got to make it work, but it works. The momtrepreneur launched the concierge service back in 1993, it's been around forever, wanting to offer a helping hand to both U.S. and international students throughout the Northeast. Service comes with a price tag of $10,000 per school year. So like what she got like 10, so she could do 10. Like how many moms can okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. You get 10, 100 grand, probably get more. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, there you go. So if you're a bad parent and you feel guilty about being a bad parent and you want your kids to have fresh vegetables and clean laundry, there's now a company for you to be able to, take the burden of being an actual parent off. Powerball. The Powerball is trending again. Why? Because ain't nobody done won it. Nope. Nobody done won the Powerball. So Powerball's up over $1 billion. That's right. This Powerball drawing tonight, $1.4 billion is going to be the jackpot tonight. Get your tickets ready. An estimated $1.4 billion jackpot could be yours in Monday night's Powerball drawing. And as I always like to say, because I do tirelessly remind you all of the Powerball and the Mega Millions and all these big ones when they come up. Should you win, drop a little something, support the show. Look, if you win $1 billion, support the show for 10 years. $1 million. There you go. $1 million, 10 years, 100 grand a year. That's all. All right. Get your tickets ready. An estimated $1.4 billion jackpot could be yours in Monday night's Powerball drawing. The massive prize is the second largest jackpot this year and the fourth largest in the lottery's history. If a player were to pick all the right numbers in Monday's drawing, they'd have the option of a lump sum payment of $478.2 million. Yes, please. Before taxes. So it's a bit. Oh man. So they're taking more than half. So it's not a bit, ain't nobody going to take your payments. Everybody's going to take the lump sum because nobody trusts nobody no more. And look, hey, do I trust that there's going to be a thing? Like if I win $1 billion and they're like, we'll pay you over the next 30 years. Do I trust that in 30 years there's still going to be a lottery? No, not entirely. But they're going to take half. So if I win $1 billion and I say, just give me the lump sum, they're only going to give me 478. So they're going to take half. Then taxes. Then they're going to carve off another couple $100 million in tax. I don't even want to win. It's not even worth it. It's very much worth it. It's very much worth it. This is absurd, me complaining about it. I mean, it's house money. Let's see, the jackpot crossed the $1 billion mark after no ticket matched all 6 numbers drawn on Saturday. White balls, 19, 30, 37, 44, and 46, and the red Powerball of 22. Hey, them's my numbers. And I forgot. While no one scored the top prize Saturday, there were more than 2.5 million winning tickets at lesser values, including 2 tickets that won $2 million and 5 tickets that won $1 million. Overall, your odds of winning a Powerball prize of any amount are 1 in 24.9 million. The lottery says, but the chances of winning a grand prize are exceedingly slim. The grand prize for the lotto, you have a 1 in 292 million chance. So you're saying I got a chance. All right, there you go. Lottery tonight. Enjoy. What else do we have here? Taylor Swift was at the football game played yesterday in New York City. Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs-Jets game last night for Sunday Night Football. Why? Because Taylor Swift is maybe not, who knows, dating Travis Kelce. They're making a spectacle of it. She's enjoying going. She's on a break of her little world tour. She's on break until like November. So, she's every week. It's Taylor Swift show. She going to go to another game, right? How serious is she with Kelce? Fabulous looking couple. Anyway, here you go. She did not leave this game with Travis Kelce, but she did. Look at this. Here you go. Watch this. Here's this Taylor Swift leaving the game yesterday. Let me show you who she's leaving with. Oh, first of all, I should tell you who she arrived did. Here's who she arrived did with. Taylor Swift shows up to the game. She's with Sophie Turner. She's the one going through a divorce from one of the Jonas Brothers. She was Sansa from Game of Thrones. I mean, she is a freaking gazelle. These two, oh my God. Freaking. Then, guess who else was with them? Blake Lively. Another freaking gazelle. These are like, these three girls just hanging out at a football game. Taylor Swift. 10 out of 10. Sophie Turner. Sansa. 10 out of 10, except with red hair. And then you got Blake Lively, the slightly different version of Taylor Swift. I mean, just the most beautiful people on earth are all in one suite there. Ryan Reynolds is there too, because of course, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. He was there. Who else? A whole bunch of people. Anyway, it was New York. Apparently, Taylor Swift is allowing Sophie Turner, Sansa from Game of Thrones, Taylor Swift is allowing Sophie Turner to live in her New York apartment while Sophie Turner goes through her divorce from Joe Jonas. Choosing sides. Looks to me like Taylor Swift has chosen a side. Anyway, here is Taylor Swift leaving the game on last night. She's not leaving with Travis Kelce, but here's all right, so here's what we got. This is what's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna show you. We'll go here. So girl in white pants and black top, girl in black pants and sort of like a gray top. Then you got this little one right next to her. This girl's like, she's wearing like a little Catholic school girl outfit, right? She's really cute. So these are beautiful women. Like these three women right here are like beautiful women. Like walk into a Target and you're like, wow, that's a really beautiful woman. But then look at the gazelles that are in like the second level, right behind these three beautiful women. These are Akron 10s, they're right behind. Then you get Taylor Swift and Sophie Turner. It's insane. All right, see, these three women are absolutely beautiful. Boom. Right here you get like 6 foot tall blonde. Wow. Look at that. Look at Sophie Turner. God, she's so beautiful. She's even prettier than Taylor Swift, I think. God, she's looking so good. All right, so there they are. One more time. People, I am so ugly. Seriously, these are like three beautiful women. Like, oh, but wait. Wow. This is also what women look like. Like women look like this and they're beautiful. But then wait, also there's this category. Sophie Turner. What is Joe Jonas getting? It's better than that. All right, there you have it. That's enough. I really like Sansa. Because I hated Sansa. Remember when Sansa was on Team Joffrey? By the way, we're talking about Sophie Turner, the girl that was just walking out with Taylor Swift. Remember when Sansa was on Team Joffrey and she was like, Joffrey is my husband and he can do no wrong. And Joffrey was like the biggest a-hole the world had ever produced. She's like basically Ava Braun. She was like sucking up to Hitler. That's how bad Joffrey was. I hated her, man. I hated her. And then she got better. And then by the end of the run, I'm like, I love Sansa, Queen in the North. Queen in the North. She was my queen in the North. I miss Game of Thrones. I really do. All right, let's go. What else do we have? So that's the Taylor Swift thing. She was at the Chiefs game again. Taylor Swift. Okay, so here's something. Here's a little thing. We'll mention this. This is really sad. Tim Wakefield has died. Tim Wakefield. I'm an old baseball guy. You know me. I love my old baseball. I'm an old baseball head. Tim Wakefield died over the weekend. Brain cancer. Very aggressive brain cancer. Kurt Schilling. Was it Schilling? His former teammate with the Red Sox. Schilling's got a podcast, and Schilling went on his podcast last week and was like, Tim Wakefield's dying, and he doesn't want anybody to know about it, but I just think I believe in the power of prayer. And so Schilling got shit on. Schilling does a lot of shitty things. Schilling got shit on last week because he revealed that Tim Wakefield was dying. And Tim Wakefield's family and Tim Wakefield didn't want anybody to know that he was dying. They wanted it to be very private. And Kurt Schilling, because of Jesus, because Kurt Schilling believes that Jesus would want everybody to pray for him because prayer works. Kurt Schilling goes off and basically says, I don't really think he wants people to know this, but you know what? I've seen the power of prayer. It's that kind of freaking arrogance. Awful, awful. Anyway, he died. He then died a couple of days later. Tim Wakefield was an interesting character because Tim Wakefield wasn't supposed to have he had like an 18-year career in the majors as a pitcher. He wasn't supposed to be a pitcher. Tim Wakefield, I want to say that at some point he had the NCAA record for home runs in a season. Tim Wakefield was a bomber. Tim Wakefield was a big hitter and an outfielder. I don't know exactly what happened, but I do know that it had something to do with his dad. His dad taught him as a kid how to throw a knuckleball. And at one point while he was in the minors, he started screwing around with a knuckleball, and it became unhittable. So, the knuckleball is a type of pitch that isn't really thrown in Major League Baseball anymore because it lacks all the things that you look for when you're developing a pitcher, which is power and positioning. And, a knuckleball is the exact opposite of that. A knuckleball is going to just not move. It's going to be exactly where you think it's going to be. It's going to move very slowly, and it's going to show no rotation. And it's hard to hit because it's a completely different kind of pitch than every other pitch that you're going to look at. I used to catch, and I couldn't catch. I had one kid, he knuckleball. It's all he threw was a knuckleball. I couldn't catch. You had to have a different catcher because the knuckleball is a different guy. Doesn't move. It hits boop, boop. It hits the mitt and then drops out. It doesn't spin into the mitt. It doesn't land in the pocket properly. It's just a weird thing. Tim Wakefield was one of the best knuckleballers of all time. Tim, he's out there with the likes of like a Charlie Huff. He's another good one from the last 30 years of baseball. Trying to think of some other great knuckleball. Anyway, Tim Wakefield died of brain cancer. He was young, 57 years old, man. That's very young. And it's sad. There you go. Anyway, Tim Wakefield, Boston Red Sox knuckleballer. Oh, man. Oh, here comes Wakefield. He's gonna be out there farting dust, just dropping these little giant sand balls, like these giant snowballs over the plate with no rotation, no nothing. People swing 3 times. Tim Wakefield, dead at 57, former Red Sox World Series champion and Boston Red Sox icon. Okay. So here's a nice little piece of news story here. This is interesting to me because I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. Good for them. I have no right to, push whatever I think. When Taylor Hawkins died of the Foo Fighters, I thought that the Foo Fighters would be done. I thought that the relationship between Dave and Taylor Hawkins was one that, really didn't lend itself to Dave wanting to continue on with the Foo Fighters. I thought maybe, Dave and the members of the Foo Fighters might form a new band, but one without Taylor Hawkins, whatever. But that's not the deal. They're moving forward. The Foo Fighters are still a thing, and they've announced a major tour. Foo Fighters announced 2024 tour featuring Alex G and more. I don't know who Alex G is. The Everything or Nothing at All tour will take the band across North America with L7 and the Pretenders also supporting select dates. I would love to see L7. I don't want to see the Pretenders. I hate Chrissy Hind. Foo Fighters have announced a full North American tour behind, but here we are. Their first major headline run since the sudden death of their drummer, Taylor Hawkins, last year. All right, so let's look at the dates here. It begins tomorrow. That's right. Wow. Okay, so you don't have to wait a whole long time if you really want to see the Foo Fighters. It begins tomorrow, and then it ends. The final date is on August the 18th of next year. Okay, so here's what we got. Foo Fighters tour begins tomorrow in Phoenix, Arizona at the Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. All right, so 10-3 in Phoenix. Here's what we're looking for. We're looking for Chicago dates, and we're looking for Dallas dates. 10-5, 2 days from now, 3 days from now, they're going to be in El Paso at the Don Haskins Center. On the 7th, the Foo Fighters are going to be in Austin at the ACL Festival. The 7th, they'll be in Austin. On the 10th, they're going to be heading down to Houston on the 10th. And then on the 14th, they are back in Austin at the ACL Festival again. Then they've got nothing for a month. They're off for a month, and then they fly to Abu Dhabi. And so, okay, so let's look at this. So the 7th, so the 5th, starting in 3 days, the Foo Fighters have El Paso on the 5th, Austin on the 7th, Houston on the 10th, and then Austin again on the 14th. So that's basically like 9 days, 10 days. They're just gonna be living here. I wonder if they're probably Austin. I would think. Maybe Dallas. I don't know. I wonder where they're living. They do not come to Dallas because it's off to Abu Dhabi in 11/26. So right around Thanksgiving, they're going to Abu Dhabi, and then it's Australia. Everywhere in Australia and New Zealand for the next 4 months. That's where they're going to be living. Then they go to England. Again, we had El Paso, 2 shows in Austin and 1 in Houston. Nothing in Dallas, and also nothing in Chicago. But we're going all over Manchester, England, and now we're all over Glasgow and London and Wales and Birmingham. All right. And then next summer in July, they come back to America. They open up a couple of shows at Citi Field there in Queens, New York, home of your New York Mets. Oh, and then they're playing stadiums. They're doing Boston's Fenway. Well, the bad news is that it ends in Seattle. So here, when they do come back to America, right? Remember, they're doing Foo Fighters are doing El Paso, then 2 shows in Austin and a show in Houston, all within a 9-day period. Then they go over to New Zealand and Australia and then Europe. Then they come back next summer and they kick off the rest of their American tour. They have not touched either Chicago or Dallas. They open up with 2 in Queens, New York, and it's Boston, and it's Philadelphia, then it's Cincinnati, Minneapolis, Denver, San Diego, Los Angeles, Portland, and the tour ends in Seattle on 8/18. No Dallas and no show. However, there's probably time for those dates to be added. I imagine Dallas, AT&T, they're going to get involved. There'll be a big Foo Fighter AT&T show at some point. Who knows? Let's see. Also joining them on this tour will be the Breeders. That would be good. The Chats. Don't know who they are. Teenage Jesus and the Gene Teasers. That's a fun name. Teenage Jesus and the Gene Teasers. Pretenders. I don't like the Pretenders. The Hives and L7. All right, there you have it. That's it. So Foo Fighters are on tour, but they may as well not be because they aren't coming anywhere near where we're playing. Guys, that's going to do it. That's all I got as far as stuff that I've prepared for this show. Let me see if there is anything that has happened while we've been on the air. Anything big? Russia warns World War III over UK troop plan. That sounds serious. Sounds like the sort of thing that someone other than myself should be discussing. Madonna tour drama. Shows off ailing knee as London dates 2 weeks away. There's a picture of Madonna. She looks very strange. God, Madonna is just not handling aging well. Ugh. She's got like a grill, you know, she's got like a silver grill. So like she's got like Jaws from the 1970s James Bond movie. Remember Jaws, that giant guy with the silver teeth? That's like what she's got, like Jaws teeth. Madonna's got Jaws teeth now. And she's doing that thing. And I don't understand this. I saw a girl over the weekend doing this thing, and it makes no sense to me. Beautiful, like young woman in her 20s, beautiful young woman. Why are women shaving off their eyebrows and then painting them in? Why are you getting rid of your actual eyebrows and then just drawing? Come on, that's a terrible look. Why are pretty girls doing this? Oh, it's such a bad look. Oh, you look so goofy. Okay. What else do we have here? Dare we go to Twitter? Should we go over to Twitter and see if there's anything trending on Twitter? There's never anything good on Twitter, and since they screwed up the trends now, I don't know. All right. For you. No, I don't want. No. Let's not do for you. Let's do the following. Okay. Let's see there. No. It's all over the place. Moreau Lake State Park. What is this? What is Moreau Lake State Park? Why is this trending? Happening right now. Crews are actively searching the woods in and around Moreau State Park for missing 9-year-old. Oh, it's a missing kid. I don't want to. Nope. We're going to move on from that one. Why is Andre 3000 trending? I hope he's not in any trouble. I like Andre 3000. Who's playing tonight on Monday Night Football? Oh, it's the Giants and I don't know. Is the Giants and the Bucks? It's probably not. I don't know. All right, guys, you know what? That's going to do it. We're out of stuff. We're going to come back tonight at 9 o'clock. We're going to do a little Radio Misfits show tonight. Thank you so much to April, Sally, Leslie, and Joel. They were our executive producers of this particular show. That means they tipped during the show. Thank you so much for that. We are grinding. Like I said, here we start on Monday. We are $200 short of reaching our goal for the month. That means we've got 3 days and 3 shows. Try and get to that number. So help out if you can. Drop a little something in the Venmo or the Cash App. If you support this kind of talk radio, non-divisive, non-political, just all the other things that people talk about. If you support this kind of talk radio, drop a little something there, and we will greatly appreciate it. All right, there we go. Who's gonna produce the show tomorrow? We'll find out. I heard some people tip. Thank you so much. Oh my God. So we'll see where we are. So from 200 today, we'll see where we are after today's tips. I got nothing. I'm desperately looking for something to stop the theme that I can talk about, and there's just nothing. What a boring ass day. All right, guys, love you. See you tonight at 9 o'clock for the Radio Misfits show. And then after that, maybe you don't join for that. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon for more High Noon. We do this every Monday through Friday. Hot topics, current events, all the things that you need to know about your day. I deliver it to you every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. here on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming platform, radiomisfits.com. Thanks, guys. Okay, bye.
I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the green. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.